Hey you guys, welcome. This is Kirsten Morley. We are certified emotion code and body code practitioner. I am so pumped for today. Honestly, I haven't done a YouTube video for a while. I've been super busy, but I am back on. And today we're going to be talking about the top 11 ways on how to heal from toxic relationships and what to actually release, especially if you're doing this for yourself. Or if you are working with another practitioner, or you're working with me, here are the top 11 things that I recommend you releasing, or all of that using the emotion code and body code. So really quick before I get into the 11 things, I just want to preface a few things. So first and foremost, something that you should ask yourself or muscle test to find out if you are even safe to heal. If you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually do not feel safe to heal, then you need to release imbalances that are preventing you from feeling safe. So you can even check your safety mode, or if you need to work on the anxiety, the depression, PTSD, certain things before you can feel like you can even heal. And one thing that I do want to recommend is I don't feel like you can heal in the same environment that made you sick, or at least it makes it a lot harder to do so. So let's get into it. Again, this is 11 ways on how to heal from toxic relationships and what to actually release. This specific list is using the emotion code and body code. And I'm so excited. So if I start talking fast, I'm just really excited for all of this. So number one, you should completely and utterly be protecting yourself from other people, especially those energy vampires that you feel like are just like sucking the life out of you. So I do have a shield that you can actually energetically protect yourself. I'm going to link that in the description below, so that way you can directly go into that video and you'll be able to energetically protect yourself, whether this is another practitioner, me, or yourself. You can even do it yourself. It's pretty easy. Number two is your heart wall. This is the number one thing that I go after for people, like straight up front. Like, let's release the heart wall. I always talk about the 10 typical symptoms when it comes to the heart wall. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, low energy, fatigue, major health issues, body mission in life, relationship issues. This is like giving and receiving love, and then abundance and wealth issues. When you release that heart wall, those 10 typical symptoms go away completely, or they become a lot more manageable. And with me, the people that I usually work with, it typically takes anywhere from 3 to 5 sessions to release that heart wall completely. But then once it's gone, things are a lot easier, and I feel like it's kind of like that 10 birds with one stone kind of a thing. Just get that out of the way, and then we can really focus on certain things, the rest of this list that I have here. So number 3 is your safety mode. Again, if you don't feel safe to heal, or if you don't feel safe in your specific environment, it's going to make it way harder for you to heal. Or in my experience, I feel like it makes it harder to see results, or for it to kind of work for you. I hope that makes sense. Number 4, cutting the cords. Okay, so you can actually ask yourself, do I have a cord with so-and-so? So there are some different types of cords that I have personally seen with myself and my clients is gut to gut. So I feel like the symbolism with gut to gut cordings is like walking on eggshells around their emotions, because you feel like you have to either protect them, or you feel like you're gonna get hurt by them, you don't feel safe with them, whatever that may be. So release that and then move on with your life. There could be multiple, just depends on the situation and the person. So the next one is a heart to heart, and this one typically represents, this cording must have been healthy at one point maybe, but it no longer is. And maybe there was a heartache, or anger, anxiety, whatever those emotions kind of tainted that heart-to-heart cording. The next one is a brain-to-brain. This one actually signifies manipulation, control, gaslighting, lying, negative thoughts. You feel like sometimes these negative thoughts just come out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about this, and then you kind of spiral. I feel like that's kind of where it comes from. Then the next one is the neck-to-neck cording. This one, to me, I find kind of hilarious, but it's not. It's just the symbolism towards it. This is more of like, that person is a pain in the neck. Ha ha ha. Anyways, don't mind me and my weird sense of humor. And then the next one is the back of the neck. This one is like when they are trying to control your head, going one way or the other, and it's almost like they're able to influence you to turn your head so that they can be sneaky in your blind spot, or they can do things behind your back. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyways, genitals to genitals. This one is a very interesting one. It can represent codependency, so like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual codependency, a lack of safety, because that's where your root chakra is. And it can also represent specific sexual things, anything sexual, because of maybe the other person has a sex addiction or whatnot. I hope that makes sense. And then number 5, triggers. This is super important to go after, because if you are going throughout your life and you're getting triggered maybe 10 times in a day, let's reduce that to like maybe 3 or 2, or just get rid of them completely. So some of the different triggers, like what is actually causing the panic or the anxiety or the dissociation? Is it you driving in a car because you were in a car accident? Is it because of the abuser or the other person? Is it a specific person? Is it a place? You get to somebody's house and you're like, I can't. And then maybe the bedroom, or, a specific room. So things can be like the car, a weapon, a chair, table, a bat, whatever that looks like to you. And again, sounds, smells, textures. And then with this triggers or symptoms, a lot of people have a tendency to dissociate. Dissociating is one of the most interesting things. It's literally like an out-of-body experience. And for those people who have not dissociated before, it can be awful. But sometimes it's there to protect your heart, your mind, your spirit, all of that. So the triggers, if you go straight to dissociating, so you can go straight to what that trigger is, or whatever is causing that, like the symptom. So there can be like dissociating. So do I have a trapped imbalance we can release now that is causing me to dissociate? You can get very specific. I usually like to stay pretty broad with it and then get specific. Whatever's causing the panic attack, the anxiety, the depression, whatever's causing me to be emotional. You get into somebody's house and you're like, oh, I just got triggered, but it's just I feel like crying. That can be a trigger, anything like that. So number 6, this is by far my favorite, absolute favorite imbalance. I don't know why. It's just, I've seen so many people's lives change just by doing an entire session with broadcast messages. I'll have to share a story with you here in a second, but actually I can't wait. So broadcast messages are basically a vibe that you put off towards other people, and then they unintentionally treat you that way, like a specific way. So I actually had a client who we released, actually let me give you an example here. So for example, if you have a broadcast message of ignore me, you walk into a room and people unintentionally ignore you. I hope that makes sense. So once you release that ignore you and replace it with a new one, which would be acknowledge me, then you walk into that room and people acknowledge you. It's a completely different vibe that you are able to put off to those people, and then they treat you differently. I actually had a client once where they said that they had like this narcissistic, very toxic coworker, and he was like, this guy does not leave me alone. He is so rude to me all the time. He is always devaluing me. He's always belittling me. He's like, I'm about to quit because this is so bad. Like, it's so bad. So I think it was like just an entire session on broadcast messages, and that has to do with this guy, this coworker that was just so toxic. And as soon as we finished the whole session, it was just a whole bunch of like almost an entire list of different broadcast messages, and the way that he treated the guy the next day. So he went to work the next day and he's like, you will not believe how this guy treated me. He actually was nice to me for the first time in 4 years of working with this guy. What? That's crazy. I was blown away. Anyways, so let's get to it. So just so you know, these broadcast messages can also be absorbed from my experience. So broadcast messages, what are some of these broadcast messages? Ignore me, attack me, punish me, hit me, abuse me, take away my power, betray me, I'm not safe, I can't do this. So many different broadcast messages. So that is like a small list of an entire list of them in the body code. Anyways, so then again, just don't forget to replace those as well with new positive broadcast messages. Like, so for example, ignore me would be acknowledge me, attack me would be honor me, punish me, honor me. Honor me is like my favorite go-to. Respect me, be kind to me. Anyways, you get the idea. So the next one, number 7, is despair anchors and post-hypnotic suggestions. They are very similar, but not quite the same thing. Despair anchors are just negative statements that it's like a frequency in the form of a statement, and then post-hypnotic suggestions are very similar. They're pretty much the same, but post-hypnotic suggestions are more of like a subliminal message. I hope that makes sense. So if you resonate with any of these, then you probably have a despair anchor or a post-hypnotic suggestion. So my life is a waste, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, something is wrong with me, people want to hurt me, people don't like me, I hate myself, I'll never be forgiven, I shouldn't exist, it's never enough, I'm ugly, I have nowhere to go, I'll be rejected. So many different these negative statements. Once you release them, you don't have to replace these ones from what Dr. Bradley Nelson says, but you should be able to just release them, and then your body kind of naturally fills in the positive with that, from what I've been told. Number 8, idea allergies. So idea allergies are basically like being allergic to the idea of something. So for example, if you are allergic to the idea of money, then you're probably broke. Does that make sense? So idea allergies, I feel like, is people tainting the way that they show up. It's like people tainting good experiences. Okay, so you could literally be allergic to a healthy relationship. If you've been in an abusive relationship for so long, you could be allergic to a healthy relationship. You could be allergic to confidence because, you know, maybe when one time you were confident, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I am so confident, I am beautiful, and then somebody comes up to you and says a nasty comment, and then you're like, oh, you know, I hope you get that. And then people could be allergic to progress, success, making money, connection, spending money. People are allergic to saving money, all of those things. So anyways, number 9, chakras. This is another one of my favorites to work on, is so just aligning all of your chakras and then making sure that they're all in sync with each other. Statements. So statements is a really good one to work on if you're trying to get very specific about just statements, how you feel about yourself. So I'm just gonna read off a whole bunch because when I was first starting, I was like, man, I need some statements to like work with people. So you can actually ask your body, how much does my body believe in this statement? Or how much does my body believe this statement? So it could be, I have complete peace with the abuse I received from so-and-so. Or I'm okay with so-and-so. Not that you want to be around them, but it's more of like, I'm okay with them, like my body is just okay. Or I'm okay with being free from so-and-so. I am ready and willing and able to heal. It is safe to heal. You can kind of fill in the blanks for those. And then some regular statements that you can actually do is like, I am a very logical person. I am a very grounded person. Especially if you've been in that toxic relationship for so long, it's almost like you need different statements to replace those with. So I am a very logical person. I'm a very grounded person. I'm very good at making decisions in my life. I am, and then just fill in the blank. So if you ever feel like you have this, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, those statements you can replace. You can, fill in the blank and just be like, I am a good person. I am, whatever. And then align yourself with that energy or the energy of that statement. So you can actually create the opposite affirmation or the statement that the narcissist or the toxic person gave to you and kind of flip it around. Like, I am a very confident person. I am happy. I am creative. I am smart. I am good enough. I am, and then again, just fill in the blank. So number 11, and I have some other things, so stick around for a second with me here. So number 11 is self-love, self-image, and self-confidence. This is just like how you feel about yourself. So the number one statement that I love to work on with people is I love myself unconditionally. When you are loving yourself unconditionally, or that you are aligned with that statement, it's almost like you're able to be closer to your higher self, or be one with yourself. I hope that makes sense. It's just like being so kind to yourself and so gracious, because we all need that unconditional love, not just from people, especially not just from other people, but especially with ourselves. So you can definitely test for imbalances. Like what's the biggest imbalance I can release that's going to help me raise my self-love or my self-image or my self-confidence? And by far, if you have issues with body dysmorphia, this is a huge one that is definitely going to help you. Not that you're not going to have body dysmorphia, but it's going to help you kind of connect back to yourself. Okay, so that was the 11, but the next thing I want to talk about is resonating with the relationships that you either have. So it's like 7 questions or things that you can kind of ask yourself on how to improve your relationship or release things that have to do with resonating your relationships. So especially if you have left the toxic relationship and you're in a healthy relationship now, one of the best things that you can do is just release anything from your past that is preventing you from having that healthy relationship. So, again, just resonating with somebody that you're involved with, especially if it's a healthy one. And if it's with a toxic one, it can help the relationship a little bit, but anyways, you get the idea. So what percentage am I resonating with so-and-so? And then release imbalances that's going to help raise that percentage. And then the second one is I am open to a loving relationship. So if you're single, or if you are just like freshly out of a relationship, you can release anything that is going to help you attract somebody. And then you can even say, you can align to this statement: I easily attract someone who is attracted to my higher self. I love that one. And codependency. So this one is, so this is number 3. Codependency is one of the biggest. It's so hard, especially when you're in that toxic relationship where it's like really hard to get away. So again, just cut those cords and release imbalances that have to do with that person. But if you just have the hardest time leaving the relationship or leaving that person, you can ask, out of 100% capacity, how much do I believe in this statement? I have peace leaving this person. So once you figure out the percentage, then you can raise that percentages by releasing imbalances, and it's going to help you, leave the relationship or be okay with leaving the relationship. And then the next one I wanted to talk about. So technically, so you can also ask, are there any imbalances that are not giving me the courage to separate myself from this relationship? Do I have codependency? And literally just find any imbalances that don't make you feel comfortable to leave, or that are causing you to be scared to leave. So there's so many different ways that you can kind of go out that question or that specific topic. The next thing, I believe this is number 4, is absorbed energies and imbalances from your relationship. So if you want to work on a specific relationship, so like, are there any energies that I absorbed from so-and-so that was a very toxic relationship? Then you can also ask, are there any other, so this is number 5, are there any other imbalances that I need to release that have to do with this person. Or that have to do with this place or this event. Am I okay with this person or being free from this person? And then number 6 is, are there any imbalances that are attracting? So there are lots of different ways that you can word some of these questions that get it from a different angle. So are there any imbalances that are attracting narcissists or toxic people into my life? And then to flip it upside down, is there anything that needs to be released that is preventing me from attracting a higher quality partner? So with that said, I think that was 7. Yes, 7. So 7 questions you can kind of ask yourself. So out of all of these things, some of the most important things that I have personally seen is creating your energetic shield, releasing your heart wall, making sure that you're safe, releasing the cords and the trauma bonds, the whatever you want to call them, the energetic connections between you and another person, the soul ties, releasing any of the triggers and the broadcast messages, the despair anchors, post-hypnotic suggestions, idea allergies, aligning your chakras, working on those statements, and working on your self-image. So out of those, it's really important to do some of them in that order unless there's something that's really sticking out to you. So I hope this was helpful, and I will be doing more videos. I've just been really busy, so working on all of these different projects and stuff, and I just felt like I really need to share, like, this is like the meat. This is the meat that so many people have asked for, and especially those people who can't afford sessions or they're like, hey, I don't know what to work on. So here's just a whole bunch of things that have to do with toxic relationships. I can do a whole nother video on what to do for whatever you call that, just building up healthy relationships and all of that fun stuff. So don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please leave comments below and or any clarification. I'm more than happy to answer questions. And if you would like to book a session, please go to go.lightandhealing.com if you've never done it before. It's just an introductory session. The first session is $39, and then after that, we'll go over prices and packages beyond that point. And if you missed the challenge that I had done all throughout the year this year, I will have that available. If you're interested for the replays, you're more than welcome to go purchase those. I will leave a link down there for you to go purchase replay of I think it's the Gaslight Away You're Not Crazy challenge. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will see you later. Bye.